Eagle Nation, what is up? Welcome on into A to Z Philly halftime live show here, RB, and we will be breaking down this first half. Eagles do lead it 10-6 after two quarters, but if we're being completely honest, that game was a train wreck in the first half. We'll talk about the lack of carries for the running backs. We will talk about the way that the Eagles really just looked all out of sorts there on offense, and we will be breaking it all down, and we'll talk about what they need to do to pick it up in the second half. Welcome on in, everybody, wherever you are watching on YouTube or Facebook. Be sure to hit that like button wherever you are watching to help push this content out, and subscribe to the A to Z Philly YouTube channel. The Eagles, like I said, lead it 10-6 here after two quarters of football. Jalen Hurts, 8 for 16, though, on the day with 139 yards and 2 interceptions. That was not a pretty first half by any means. Now, the Eagles did go down there right at the end. I want to get it right, too. It was how many plays? 9 plays. 9 plays on that final drive, 91 yards, 2 minutes of possession. That was a great drive. The Eagles utilized more weapons, and Jalen Hurts had that big break of a run there to punch it in. And that is number 11 on the year for Jalen Hurts, a 22-yard rushing touchdown, and Jake Elliott kicks it through. The Bears right before that actually did not elect to go and kick a field goal on the 31-yard line. I think Cairo Santos is dealing with an injury. It's definitely been one of those weird games where it feels like there's a lot of injuries piling up, a lot of penalties, right? Just one of those like cold, frigid days on the road for the Eagles. We know this is a trap game, and they need to kind of fix their strategy here going into the second half. I was very displeased with the lack of carries, especially for Miles Sanders. I wrote it down here in my notes. Miles Sanders did not touch the football until 6:32 to go in the second quarter. That can't happen. That can't happen. Now, I know Eagles fans have a lot of differing opinions on Miles Sanders and how we should kind of be running the offense. I think everybody can come together, though, and agree that Miles Sanders should absolutely have carries in the first quarter. He should have more than a touch or two, at the end of the first half. That just cannot happen if you're the Philadelphia Eagles. He now has 3 carries for 12 yards, but again, he did not touch the ball until the latter part of this first half. And that just can't happen. You come into this game against the Bears defense, who is bottom half in almost every single category, and you're making it much easier for them. You're making this way too predictable. They know the pass is coming. They're staying back on everything. And the Philadelphia Eagles were out there for about a quarter and a half looking like they're playing Madden. I mean, they're throwing it downfield every single play. I will be honest, it's not what I expected coming into this game. I said it was a trap game. I said the Eagles needed to dominate, but you have to come out here and stick within your confines, right? You have to stay within character. Just because you're playing against a really bad team who has lost 6 games in a row, you can't just suddenly jump out of character and expect to win, especially on a day like this. So I was not happy at all with the play calling in the first half, and I hope they can pick it up. I know Shane Steichen, I know Nick Sirianni can put together a good game plan. I know they know what they're doing, but you have to run the football, man. You have to run the football. So it's very interesting. Very interesting game plan coming into this one. I thought the defense had a spectacular first half. I thought they kept Justin Fields contained. Obviously, he broke off for that one run, which was absolutely insane. I mean, he's a skilled player as it is. But Hassan Reddick had him wrapped up, and he kind of broke off and just runs down the field. Luckily, he stepped out of bounds at like the 10-yard line. They ended up punching in the touchdown anyway. But overall, other than that, I thought the Eagles defense did a solid job in the first half. We had 5 sacks. Josh Sweat had 2. Hassan Reddick had 2. Hargrave had 1. I thought we put a decent amount of pressure, but then again, it's kind of hard because Justin Fields is so powerful with his legs. You never know what that kid is going to do. So I thought the defense played fine in the first half. Obviously, the Bears are down. They lost a receiver. They lost an offensive lineman. They're banged up every which way. The Eagles just need to make this easier on themselves. Come out here, play their game. Jalen Hurts did not look good at all in the first half. I will credit some of that to maybe just Jalen Hurts not having his sharpest day, but I personally think it's more of just the strategy, the offense, right? Get your guys into a rhythm. Give us a couple 5-10 yard plays. Just kind of get things going. Run the ball, keep them off balance. Maybe a designed run or two with Jalen Hurts. Just keep things in flow, man. It just, there's been no flow here in the first half. So, yeah, hopefully they get Miles going. We have seen this before where they don't use him in the first half and then they kind of get him going third quarter, fourth quarter, and then they steamroll, right? So hopefully that is what will happen here. But you do not want to keep this Chicago Bears team in the game. They're a bad team. They've lost 6 in a row, and you do not want to give them any life at all. Give me your thoughts right now. I see everybody commenting in the chat. Give me a couple words or thoughts on this game. How do you feel? What is your biggest takeaway from the first half? Why did the Eagles struggle as much as they did? And how do you feel heading into the second half? Let's see who we have up in here. We have Larry. He says, run the ball. We have Wardell, who says, hope they regroup and put them away. Stewart says Eagles better fix all the crap they have going on. Not only will we possibly lose, but Dallas will take advantage. And I believe Dallas is up right now against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Marvin says, run the effing ball. It's cold. Exactly. Make it easy on yourself. We know this is one of those days. They said it felt like 6 degrees coming into the opening tip or the opening kickoff. And I mean, you just have to make it easier on yourself. That's my biggest thing. We know this Eagles offense is filled with weapons up and down. You have to utilize them, man. You have to utilize them. Let's see. We have Darius who says in the second half, I need the Eagles to run the ball. Jalen Hurts already threw 2 picks. Yeah, it has not been his sharpest day for sure. I mean, he's found Devontae Smith a couple times, couple big plays. Devontae already up to 104 receiving yards on the day. But you got to get everybody else involved. AJ Brown, where's he at? Obviously, Dallas Goedert is not playing today. I wish he could have, but I'm fine with resting him through this game. Joseph says absolutely they have to use Miles, and Sean says agree we should run a lot more. Even if it's Jalen Hurts, again, the Eagles have such a lethal ground game. They can do anything they want. They can keep a defense off balance just by pushing it through. And I'm looking at the Eagles' first couple drives. We only took 2-3 minutes off the clock. In the first quarter alone, the Eagles had only run 7 plays. Meanwhile, the Bears had run 21. The Eagles are, they were not extending drives because they're going, pass, pass, pass. Every play, Jalen Hurts lined up in the shotgun, looking downfield for, 20, 30, 40 yards. And that's fine. The Eagles can do those things, but you absolutely have to get into a rhythm first. And they just did not. And I'm surprised that this hasn't been corrected earlier. Now, again, the last drive looked a little bit better as Jalen Hurts started to get going, but I'm surprised they didn't kind of correct that after the first couple drives. There has to be communication with Nick Sirianni and Shane Steichen, and it was not good in that first half. And it's like the Eagles almost forget they have a 1,000-yard rusher on this team. Yeah, it's not a 400-yard rusher. It's not a 500-yard. It's a 1,000-yard rusher with games to go. So I just think they need to feed Miles. And I've always said this. I think Miles Sanders is underutilized. But I can remember about 2, 3, maybe 4 games in my mind where there have been first halves like this where he just is not used at all. And I do not understand it. I do not understand it. Let's see. Joseph says, absolutely, Miles should be getting fed. It is cold out there. Caleb says, feed Booby Miles. Wardell says, run the ball like they did last week. Yeah, and the last couple games they've gotten out, they've hit big plays in the air. And then, I feel like they kind of get a big head sometimes. They're like, oh, this team is so bad. We can just exploit them in the air. The Eagles just need to keep it simple. I mean, that's the best way to say it. They need to keep this a simplistic game plan, keep it a balanced attack, and go out there and get it done. Justin Fields is doing everything he can. That is their entire team. I look up and down their roster. They don't really have playmakers. They don't really have guys where I'm saying, okay, I'm scared of that guy, other than Justin Fields. And I thought the Eagles defense did a good job of containing him in the first half, with the exception of that one huge run that he broke off. We have Steven in the chat says, run it exactly. All big sacks we have, we should be up by more than 4. Exactly. Exactly. And I am happy that the Eagles finally got that touchdown they needed and they're up. But let me know in the chat, yes or no. Do you feel good about this game heading into the second half? Will the Eagles get this on the right track? Do you think things will be corrected, or are we going to have a game here where we're getting down to the fourth quarter, the final minutes, and we're, biting our nails and we're starting to sweat a little bit like, okay, this might actually come down to the last couple possessions? What do you guys think? Yes or no in the chat? And once again, shout out to everybody in here. We will be live after the game as well, so be sure to come back in. Let's see. Joe says, run, run, run. We have Zach says, fly, Eagles fly. BLSG says, what's good? Rough first half. Better play calling is needed. We have Crush who says, Hurts has cold hands. It's throwing him off. Run the ball. Let that man keep his hands in the warmers. We have Kimberly in here supporting the Birds. What is up, Kimberly? David says Miles out there freezing his ass off. Give him the ball. Give him the ball. We have Gabe who says no. We have Joe who says no. Run, run. Joseph says yes. This game is getting ready to start here in the second half. Hopefully the Eagles can pick this up. You know, they need to just throw that first half game plan into the trash and they need to go back. It's just surprising to me, your first 15 plays and no runs at all. It's mind-blowing. It really is. But Eagles need to keep Justin Fields in check and they need to go out here. If the Eagles can put up, you know, some points here in their first or second possession, I think they can come out here and make it a reasonable win and kind of forget about that trash first half. But don't give this team life. Do not give this team life. That's the story of the game. Run the ball. Run the ball. You have to come out here significantly better on the offensive side. But those are the main thoughts of the game. Eagles lead at 10-6. We will be back here right after the game, so be sure to tune back in wherever you're watching. Hit the like button and be sure to subscribe on the YouTube channel A to Z Philly. And appreciate everybody being here. And I will catch you all right after the game. You guys have a great second half. Peace.